So a few weeks ago we had a Danita 3000, the early version, which was 2780. Wasn't 2780, what am I telling you? The early version, which was PR2797, one of these. The same customer sent another one of these in. Channels jump. Well, this isn't a real channel selector switch, is it? It's a rotary shaft encoder. So I'm not sure what we do there. So we'll do the usual service and see if there's anything we can do with his jumpy thing. His jumpy channels. Not the multi version, this is a much earlier version. Made in Thailand. Right. Oh, I'll just put jumpy channels reported. We may as well go through everything. At least it's got a full-size power lead. Full size as well. If I can get this sorted in within an hour, you know, I can get another on the air test done with it and it can go back to the customer. Power supply on, 13.8 volts on, power on. Oh, that's a bit bad contrast. Yeah, I mean, one of the things you have to remember is if you spin the dial, it isn't going to, you know, on a traditional one with a real channel selector, if you start at 1 and quickly go through all 40 positions, it will get to the channel 40. But if you've got something with a rotary shaft encoder, it can only compute as fast as it can compute. So you can be turning this for all it's worth, and it's not going to do massive clicks. So, you know, there is the possibility that there isn't a fault, but it might be different to his other one. I don't know. We'll go through everything anyway right now, and I will look into that. A bit of a thin mic lead. We'll put it on channel 20 UK. Switch picture-in-picture back on, and we're in the 3 watt scale, so we're looking for beyond the full scale deflection, which it is. So it's 3.5 watts. .5 watts. Channel 40. He hasn't asked us to do it CPT, so we'll be doing it UK only. Is 3.3 watts. Channel 1. But we will, channel 1, I will do the other, it's 3.5 watts, and we'll put channel 1 CPT, we'll put an extra box in for that. And what have we got? To press the button yet. So it's into EU now, 3.5 watts. Doesn't have low power because it isn't a 2781 set. Back to UK 40, and current consumption 1.35 amps. Deviation, for what it's worth on this test set, Wallow is 1. We won't be doing the VCO. The frequency Let's go to camera 2. And the frequency is 27,79101, so it's very close. 27,79101, of course we want it to be 125. Receive, well, we can hear it receiving, and at the moment that's S9, and it's showing as, well, that's S9, so it's having to be 1500 microvolts, so 1500, 1.5 millivolts, so it's a bit lazy. And on transmit, we'll just look at the meter for transmit. And it's full scale deflection. So we don't know about the switches, potentiometers. Bit of noise. Do these have PA? No. So receive. Let's put the SINAD meter up. One day I'll reset that camera position, but then the mice will move it. Oh wow, that's very good. Just change scales. A 0.32. For 10 dB, 0.24, and for 20, not quite doing it for 1. It's 1.2. Squelch, turn it to full. Let's see where that is. Let's put the attenuator up so you can see what I'm doing. And we're 3 microvolts. I want it to open at 100, which it doesn't. It does actually open at 10 millivolts, so at least it does open, which is more than some sets do. So we'll turn the squelch down, set it to threshold, see when it comes in, straight in at 0.3. So that's very good. Right, we'll open it up. So we've got extra screws in the back. So the last one of these worked really well. In fact, so well I used it as the base station for a walkie-talkie test, if you remember. There we go. Should have put the soldering iron on ages ago. The ones we've taken the lid off, we've actually got it being intermittent. So we've got no transmit, no receive. I think we've got a dry joint under this screen plate. So I'll take that off and we'll go back in to record. So I've taken the screen plate off, as you can see. So I'm now looking at dry joints, and I can see there's a corker of one there. I bet that's what his trouble is, you know. I'll just take the power off, just do a few dry joints. Perhaps someone would like to tell me, because I don't have mobile phones. I do worry about the Apple products because they're always bringing a new one out, which tells me that the previous one can't possibly be any good, or they wouldn't be needing to bring a new one out all the time. So, can anybody tell me, have they got, when did it start making these things? Was it 20 years ago, 25 years ago, 30 years ago? I don't know. And do any of them still work? Well, that's what I can see. So if there's anything left, Mr. Chippy will have to do it. Anyway, it's working fine. And we do have a vibrator, which I don't want to show on the video, but that's another thing we could use. Okay, so let's go through this. I can't remember what we did 3 weeks ago. Transmitter, transmitter, transmitter. So they're correct. So I can't remember whether there was an overall power. I might have to look back at what we do. I'll tell you one thing I can do. Let's put it on frequency. Overshot it. I like them about 27, so there's a bit of leeway for it to drop, which you do with age. It's 22, 41. Tell you what, we'll leave it at there. So I'll just see if I've got the notes, or whether I've thrown them away. I've still got the Danita notes. Ugh. Squelch deviation, S meter, TX meter. deviation, TX meter, S meter, squelch, what did we say 203 was? Possibly thought it was AM mod, with it being where it is for the versions where there is AM. I will just do it at the slightest adjust. It is power to some extent. Right. We now bang on the 4 watts. In fact, we just overshot it. There we go. So, channel 20, 4 watts. Channel 40, 3.99. Channel 1, 4 watts. CPT, channel 1, 4.05. I'll put 3.95. 4 watts, 4 watts, 4.05. So it tracks nicely. So back to channel 20 UK, and it is now 1.46. 1.467 amps. So for half a watt we are now drawing another 100 milliamps. So I'll come back to deviation because I only put the machine on about 10 minutes ago. So let's do the TX meter. So it's banging across. And TX meter, it should be that one. So it's still banging across, but it's now in a less sensitive position, shall I say. So it's still FSD. It's 4 watts. There's a possibility we've got a noisy volume control. So the rotary encoder is on this ribbon cable here. So we'll look at the soldering. And we'll look at the soldering on the other side. There is the possibility of a dry joint. It hasn't played up for me, and I just think it was doing what it did for me for the customer. And it may be that turning the channel selector switch was enough to make the radio start working again. I've lost my place. I'll do some other possibilities while I'm at it. It's there, isn't it? Looks good enough to put the shield plate back on. Oh, that's interesting. That's not the right position. See if it still works. And it does. And it still does. 4 watts. Right, well that's the transmit done. And the receiver is really good, but we'll still go through it. So, detector 105. Put the signal generator to 100 microvolts, put the oscilloscope on. We'll now move across from that to this again. Put this oscilloscope on the screen. And enough volume for it to register. Do we need an earth? No. Oh yeah, that was out. Right, to the SINAD meter. So it's probably worse sensitivity now because I've got the detector right. So I think we'll... What's the IFs? We'll start at the front end. Put the signal up a bit for that one. It's got that same glue that goes hydroscopic and makes things look rusty. That's it. So let's see what our new readings are. So that's just about 12. I'm on the wrong scale. So that's now 12. What will have happened, our 20 dB will have improved. So we've now got 0.26. Oh, so it has improved. And 0.21. And looks like 1. I've just changed scales just because we're between scales. I'll say 1.1 and give it a benefit of the, not the benefit of the doubt. I'll be cruel to it. Now let's turn the squelch to full. See whether that's improved, because it might have, because the detector is always going to affect the squelch. Yeah, well, it hasn't improved it, so we'll now look to the squelch preset, which won't take much finding because we have the information. My late mother was a hospital specialist. She'd always say inflammation, on purpose, of course. Very embarrassing. You know, you don't always know what your mum does, and oh, she's some kind of nurse, and had some I'd be, what, 9 years old having a birthday party. So let's do this squelch. And, you know, all these guests come and mum and dad's drop them off and pick them up 90 minutes later and whatever. And having your jelly and ice cream and all that. Let's just turn that down. Let's see where it is now. 100 microvolts, and on sensitivity still 0.3, so that's sorted that out. We've just got the meter to do. So anyway, this boy comes to my birthday party, and obviously my mum's there to greet him. And I'm surprised he didn't flee. It turns out she dealt with his undescended testicles. Because you've no idea, have you, about these things when you're 7? What your mum does, but he must have said, "Oh my goodness, that's his mum!" Ah, the things she came out with, you know, when there's relatives present, it was actually embarrassing. Right, so the S meter was that one. There we go. Can we do plus 30? Not off the signal generator, we can't. Can we do plus 30 off my walkie-talkie? No. Oh, we're on channel 31 on that. That's why we can't. Oh, I bet that knocked the audio. Yeah, we can get plus 30 from a closed signal. Good, well, we're done. So we'll go over to CPT. I've just got the deviation to check with the other test set. That's another. I haven't got the figures because I sent the chart back with the customer, but I don't keep these, you know. They go back with the radios. Right, to see what the deviation has to say for itself. I only read one on the Marconi test set. Let's see what it says on the other one. Wow, this is 1.7, so yeah, it is pretty low. And I think it's that one, isn't it? Wow, that's now peaking at 2.5, which is what we want. But we'll just plug it back into Marconi test set to see whether it's agreeing or disagreeing today. Which camera do I want? One. Wow, it says it's 2 on there, so it's lying today. So it's actually, we'll give it the benefit of the doubt, say we're at 1.8, it's now 2.2 or 2, and by 1.8 I mean the peak is, not the average. Right, well I'm satisfied that's done. I think it was dry joints, and we've got the opportunity to kind of leave this on overnight and see if it still works tomorrow morning, because it's Sunday tomorrow, and of course I've got a day of, as a church organist, obviously I've got a day of church services to do, so it's not often we can get much in on a Sunday. I've got a new hymn to learn, which is not that new, but it's probably 1960s or 70s, but the visiting Ministers Church of England that I work for, but we've got a retired United Reformed Church, which used to be congregational, didn't it, for those who know. A retired United Reformed Church minister taking the service. He's licensed to do that, and so of course he's got a slightly different idea of hymns, and although they're in our book, we haven't ever necessarily ever done them before, and there's nothing wrong with learning some new hymns at all, but I do have that to do. And you think by the time you've done the job for 50 years, you know, you've probably learned everything you need to learn, but not so. Just put enough screws in this to hold it together for now, so we can get an on-the-air test done. That's a shorter screw, so that must go in the back. The other one in this side so it looks like it's put together for the video. You know what? There's the short screw for the other back one. Only leaves one to put in, doesn't it? Alright. We'll put it together. And it still works. Right, I'll turn the test gear off, turn picture-in-picture off, turn the smouldering bat off, and I don't know if this speaker works, do we? Let's plug the Antron 99 aerial in. One and a Roger. Radio just burped. 19 a Roger on CPT, followed by 14 a Roger on CPT. It's Playtoy. He's clearly talking to somebody in the same room. And there we go. Thanks for watching Danita 3000 UK from 1998, somewhere around there.